Good morning and welcome to this exciting launch event. We're here to elevate support for our nation's public schools. I am Earl Franks, and I serve as Executive Director of the National Association of Elementary School Principals and as Chair of the Learning First Alliance. The Learning First Alliance is an organization of 12 leading education associations that represent more than 10 million educators. The Learning First Alliance and our member organizations support improved student learning in America's public schools by engaging individual and organizational expertise, leadership, and advocacy efforts. We are gathered this morning to make clear why we are educators and why we carry the torch for public education. Whether we are principals, superintendents, teachers, counselors, specialists, parents, or teacher educators, we are here for the kids. On a personal note, as a proud product of public education, I am here for the kids. I would hate to think where I would be today had it not been for the excellent educational opportunities that highly competent, dedicated, and passionate educators afforded me. We are coming out of some of the most challenging school years in a generation. We all experienced it. On a dime, communities found their schools shifting to meet new needs brought on by the pandemic, like increased food insecurity, frontline public health service, not to mention shifting from in-person to hybrid and virtual instruction. And we made it through, survived, if you will. Now we intend to thrive, even though learning gaps, the ripple effects of the pandemic continue. Despite all the challenges of the pandemic, our schools have persevered, but they need our help to ensure a bright future for kids. This is our moment of opportunity and urgency to step up to the challenge and elevate public education like never before. Kids are depending on us. Schools are addressing learning gaps by leveraging innovation, the great hallmark of the pandemic, to make giant leaps in technology, teaching, and learning. And the Learning First Alliance is here to assist our schools in this important endeavor. For almost 25 years, the Learning First Alliance has shared examples of success, encouraged collaboration, and worked toward the continual and long-term improvement of public education based on solid research. In doing this, we continue fulfilling our mission and passion for improving student learning in America's public schools. Today's program is the launch of a new initiative designed to ignite support for local schools. Polling data has informed us that the public supports their local school. When we talk about our local schools, we think about a specific building and its people. When you think of public schools, we want you to think about the promise of public education as the why we're working for kids. During this morning's program, you will hear from national leaders sharing why they are here for the kids, followed by exemplary leaders in the field speaking from their communities and schools and communicating about their why and how they are here for the kids. To begin, I would like to introduce Dan Domenech, Executive Director of AASA, the School Superintendents Association. During his 60-plus successful years in education, Dan has been a teacher, principal, and district superintendent before his impactful tenure leading AASA. He is often quoted in the media and has been an advisor to secretaries of education and other prominent leaders. Dan was also a participant participant at LFA's founding. Dan, please come and share why this initiative is so important.
Thank you very much, Earl, and good morning. The Learning First Alliance and its 13 member organizations, as you can see, have come together around a very important purpose: to empower and provide parents, teachers, and other stakeholders with a very clear way to express and make visible their support for public education. We are all here for the kids. Thank you very much for joining us in this effort. The American schools educate nearly 50 million students each year and are staffed by more than 6.5 million educators, administrators, and support professionals. 90% of children in the United States attend our public schools. Our schools form the hub of many communities, providing a safe environment for our children, a gathering place for residents, and opportunities to enjoy and participate in learning, athletics, and the arts. So public education is the most important investment America makes in its future. It is a tangible expression of our values and our aspirations. Education inspires students' natural curiosity, imagination, and love of learning. Schools that nurture these values today are growing tomorrow's inventors, innovators, artists, and our leaders. The promise of public education is to meet the individual needs of each and every student while offering a comprehensive education and services for all children who walk into their local school. We need to do a better job of shining a light on the successes of our public schools in doing exactly that. We will accomplish this through sharing stories from across America and demonstrating that we are here for the kids in each and every American community. The past several years have demonstrated to us how truly committed our American educators are to helping children thrive despite unprecedented challenges. Local educators and school leaders have earned our respect. Yet today, educator recruitment and retention is at a very serious issue. The pandemic exacerbated educator burnout and exposed long-standing issues, including low teacher compensation, unsupportive working conditions, and societal perceptions of the profession that has led to educators feeling devalued. These factors are creating recruitment challenges for school districts and a dearth of high-quality candidates for numerous positions, including teachers, classroom aides, paraprofessionals, bus drivers, custodial staff, and food service workers. Despite all of these challenges, our schools have persevered, but they need our help to ensure a bright future for the students that they serve. The latest NAEP data clearly show that the pandemic led to loss of learning opportunities for many American students and the need for new approaches to academic recovery. Today, students are experiencing a crisis of belonging and a crisis of opportunity. 1/3 of 15-year-olds report not feeling like they belong in their school, while stress, anxiety, and depression among students is already at record levels and rising. These stressors also impact their ability to learn and to thrive, and public education must do more to support these needs. Yet, NAEP data also reminds us that schools matter. In-person learning is vital to ensure the continuity of education for every child. We must ensure healthy and safe school environments to avoid future learning disruptions. And it is time for expanded engagement, integrating technology in a meaningful and deliberate way, and expanding professional learning, all with a continued focus on what's important: the kids. This work is critical. We refuse to let well-funded opponents from outside our communities undermine public education through misinformation and false narratives. we will lift up our voices to communicate the real American narrative about public education. As a nation, this is our moment of opportunity to step up to the challenge and elevate public education like never before. Our future depends on it. The imperative is clear. Every child has the right to an education that helps them reach their full potential. To this end, the Learning First Alliance and our partners are launching a new campaign, Here for the Kids. Through this critical effort, we aim to improve support for public education. We aim to reflect shared values and principles around children as our priorities, and to raise awareness about the good work taking place in our public schools. The Here for the Kids campaign brings together families, educators, community members to support their local schools. Although we sometimes disagree on how to get there, we can come together around our shared values of ensuring every child feels accepted, that they believe they can succeed, and build on the critical skills to succeed in a diverse world. When we support public education, we support our kids. This morning, we're excited to share with you voices from across America united in the cause of embracing and celebrating public education as a pillar of our democratic society and as a doorway to our collective future as a nation. Ladies and gentlemen, we all are here for the kids. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Now let's hear from our national leader panelists to find out what Here for the Kids means to them. We will begin with Frank Henderson Jr., President of the National School Board Association and board member of the Seaman School District in Kansas.
We know the pandemic created great challenges for our kids and their families by widening the already large gaps we see in access, opportunity, and achievement. But we also know that our kids are resilient, and our kids are able to rise to those challenges when given the proper supports. In my hometown, Topeka Public Schools creates a preschool to 12th grade dual language program that integrates native English-speaking students with native Spanish-speaking students for academic instruction. These dual language classrooms enable all students to be language models and second language learners. And Lowell Joint School District in California created an Arts for All program that ensures all sixth graders have access to instruments and lessons at school. This fosters a school family and connects each student with a school mentor. And these are just a few examples of remarkable programs happening all across the country. Our challenge is to ensure that all students have access to the support and resources they need to be successful. At NSBA, we're continuously working to provide support for historically disadvantaged students, increase broadband access, provide support for students with disabilities and mental health needs, and address learning loss because of the pandemic. So I'm honored to be here today and show support for our public schools and for our kids, because our future as a nation is linked to the education that they receive today. Thank you.
Next is the CEO and Executive Director of COSN, the Consortium for School Networking, Keith Kruger.
Thanks, Earl. I'm here for the kids. Regardless of their family income or where they live, every child deserves equitable access to high quality learning environments. At COSN, we're working to redesign today's classrooms to prepare our students for tomorrow. And if the pandemic has shown anything, as Dan said, it's that digital equity is key, both at school and at home. This summer, we released new data from over 350,000 students around the country, which demonstrated the continued importance of student home connectivity. While most students are back at school, more bandwidth is used by students from home for doing their homework. And unfortunately, it matters which family you come from. Large discrepancies persist by race, ethnicity, and income. In fact, a third of high school students experience far below or below guidelines for home connectivity. It simply isn't fair. Connectivity is a 21st century civil right. So together we want to work to ensure that every child has the tools to succeed.
Next, we will hear from Barbara Hunter, Executive Director of the National School Public Relations Association.
Thank you. Teaching and learning takes place every day in every school across America. Teaching and learning is truly the magic that happens in our classrooms, where our kids are prepared daily to step into their future roles as leaders and contributors to our communities and our nation. To make this magic of teaching and learning happen, it takes an intricate web of experts and supporters, all of whom are here for the kids day in and day out. And among these experts are we, who joyfully and widely share stories of this magic, not only to parents and to caretakers and to grandparents, but beyond to our mayors and our city councils, to news reporters, business owners, faith leaders, senior citizens, and many more. Well-told stories bring classrooms to life in the eyes and minds of many who haven't been inside a school building in years. Stories that capture a student's moment of aha. Stories that show the kindness of a teacher who brings a pair of shoes to a student who have outgrown theirs and can't afford another pair. Stories that reveal a student's determination to realize their dreams of becoming something greater than themselves. And we know that these stories also help to build support among our communities for new ideas and innovation that elevate our kids' imagination and potential. I am here for the kids because everyone, everywhere should be able to see inside a classroom through these stories and feel the joyful learning and growth that happen every day in our schools.
Our next national leader is Anna King, President of the National PTA and Secretary at the Frederick A. Douglass High School, PTSA in Oklahoma City.
The mission statement of PTA is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering all families and communities to advocate for all children. There's a couple of words that stand out the most to me: engaging and empowering. When you engage and empower a family or a guardian or a parent, they become this huge voice and this huge advocate for their children. I know this personally because when my youngest was in the first grade, he was centered to be called a troubled child that was not reaching his fullest potential because he would get up and walk around in the classroom, not knowing that he was a gifted student. And instead of him giving him harder work to be successful, he was labeled in the classroom. And so me being an advocate as a young mother, a wife, and a mother of three, became really important to me. And that's what I love about this association. And I love about having the venue to advocate for children. And I learned this even more when my daughter became a senior, when she was in a high school, when we found out that her classroom didn't have enough books for them to take home to school. Parents are an essential ingredient to student success. And a special sauce that makes that work is when you have a parent, a teacher, administrator, a school board member, the community collaborating together and partnering together to make sure that all of our children have what they need to be successful. The future is bright. We have to continue to work together, and we are all here for kids.
Next, we will hear from the Executive Director of the National Education Association, Kim Anderson.
Our 3 million members are here every day for every kid and every school and every campus because we know we have the future in our hands. Our teachers, paraprofessionals, librarians, counselors, psychologists, food service workers, bus drivers, and more know and work to ensure that all of our kids are able to learn in a healthy, safe, inclusive, respectful, creative, and joyful environment. Educators have a superpower. Educators have a boundless love that calms and reassures and inspires and excites our nation's kids. And it's that boundless love is what drives educators across the country to place our kids' well-being as their first priority. If our students aren't well, we know their learning will be hampered. When students are hungry, we feed them. When our students are grappling with trauma, we counsel and comfort them. When students don't have enough supplies, we buy them. When our students are in the line of fire, we put our bodies in front of those bullets. We dip into our pockets and our courage and our hearts every day to help students succeed. We're here for kids. And we're here because we dream of public schools that are fully supported to serve all of our kids, no matter their zip code or their background. We see our kids' dreams and we help fuel them. We see our kids' skills and we help to hone them. We see all of our kids' potential and we help them thrive. That happens every day in our public schools, and that strengthens our communities and our country. It's our kids and our public schools that unite us all. We're here for kids.
Next, we will hear from Aman Danda, Chief Engagement Officer at the National Association of Secondary School Principals.
On behalf of over 16,000 school leaders and 1.8 million students, NASSP is here for the kids because we support public education and the school leaders who work tirelessly to help educate all of our students. At NASSP, our goal is to bring together school leaders from around the country, working hand in hand with the students they serve to strengthen our schools and communities. Over the past year, we've transformed how we do things because the education landscape is no longer the same. Our priority is to engage with those who serve and listen and learn from each of them. We hear their stories of success and we hear their struggles. We must stand shoulder to shoulder to identify the solutions and make collective impact. We believe that educator pipelines are our student lifelines. We listen to our students and school leaders on what schools need most, and that's only then can we stand up for all our kids and do what's right by each of them. We stand for public education and giving each student the chance they deserve.
Our next national leader is Frederick Ingram, Secretary Treasurer of the American Federation of Teachers.
At the American Federation of Teachers, we are laser focused on what kids need. In every community, regardless of background, their station, their culture, or their zip code, that's what we do to ensure that every kid can attain the best of themselves. Personally, for me, my public schools saved my life. Every statistic in America says I shouldn't be here today. Coming from abject poverty, living in housing projects, coming in from a Title I school. But my high school band director is one of the crowning heroes of my life, Mr. William McKenzie. I will never forget him. He told me things like, just because you're in the mess, you don't have to be a part of it. You can be more than what you see. Just try a little harder. Just do a little bit more. Come to school every day and ensure that you are giving it your all. That's what public schools do, and that's what this alliance does. In fact, this alliance represents over 10 million people, representing the 50 million children who are counting on us to get this right. We must stay together. We must work together, and we must teach together, because that's what this is about. It's about the hopes and the dreams of all of our futures, so that we can make our country, our society, our communities, and in fact, our blocks, and in fact, our families better. That's what public schools do every day. It's the bus driver, it's the secretary, it's the administrator, it's the teachers, it's the counselors, it's the band directors. It's all of us pulling together, saying, young man and young woman, you can do this. You've got more. And we know that the future belongs to you. That's why we're here for kids. The American Federation of Teachers is staunchly behind this effort.
We will now hear from Elizabeth Foster, Vice President of Research and Standards at Learning Forward.
Learning Forward is here for the kids because all kids deserve opportunities to learn, to grow, and to travel along their own path to become the best that they can be. Kids' needs are changing all the time, and teachers are constantly learning and growing so that they can meet each kid's evolving needs. Through my work at Learning Forward in professional learning with teachers and school leaders, I see how hard educators work to be the best that they can be for their kids. For example, I work with teachers who analyze video clips of their own classroom practice so that they can look for places where they can improve, just like professional athletes do. I get to sit with teams of teachers and leaders who are poring over the data about each and every kid to make sure they understand what that kid needs. And I work with teams of teachers who regularly dig into the latest research to find the strategies that help make learning meaningful and effective for each and every kid. Public schools are the places where all kids are welcome and where all teachers invest in kids as learners, meeting them where they are and nurturing the potential they see in each one of them. Working together in this alliance, we can provide our creative, dedicated teachers with the resources they need to ensure that kids have access to meaningful learning and to the experiences that will help them achieve their potential. As a public school kid myself, and as the parent of public school kids, and as a proud member of Learning Forward, I'm very pleased to be here today to support educators in the amazing and life-changing work they do for the kids. Thank you.
Next is the Executive Director of the American School Counselor Association, Jill Cook.
ASCA is here for the kids because we know firsthand the difference caring and supporting adults make. I'm here for the kids because every day I see the difference that school counselors make. Today's school counselor works with all students in a school through a comprehensive program that focuses on academic, career, and social emotional development. School counselors use data to deliver developmentally appropriate curricula focused on the mindsets and behaviors all students need for post-secondary readiness and success. School counselors help close achievement and opportunity gaps. Research tells us that students who have access to a school counselor have better academic outcomes, improved attendance, fewer discipline incidents, and higher graduation rates. Every student deserves adults who support them. Every student deserves a school counselor. The past several years have been challenging for everyone. Pre-pandemic, school counselors and educators, like those joining us today, knew more youth were struggling with their mental health. Recent national surveys of young people have shown alarming increases in the prevalence of certain mental health challenges. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 34. But if we work together for the benefit of all kids, we can make a difference. For 30 years, first as a teacher, a middle school counselor, assistant principal, and now as an association executive, I have seen what students can aspire to, overcome, and become when adults invest in their education and well-being. School counselors are here for the kids because they matter.
Representing PDK International is Acting Chief Executive Officer, Albert C. Chen.
PDK and Educators Rising are here for the kids because they need role models that reflect the communities that they're in. We're here for the kids because we need to inspire kids to serve their communities as educators. We're here for the kids because we need to provide opportunities like the Educators Rising National Conference to meet other like-minded kids to get recognized and fulfill their calling in the face of overwhelming odds in the media. Once you see 2,000 kids at nationals, the best of their best, empowered and passionate about education, seemingly competing, well, it's inspiring. I had the story of this kid I met at the nationals where he didn't even know that teaching was a possibility until his teacher tapped him and said, and asked him whether or not he thought education was right for him. And this kid ended up leaving his own gang and got into Berkeley and became a teacher. We're here for the kids because we make a difference in kids' lives. We create programs that excite and empower them with proven curriculum and leadership opportunities to succeed and stay in the field. We're here for the kids because they need to be part of this movement so that they can become the role models for the next generation of kids. So yes, PDK is here for the kids.
Our next national leader is Dave Steckler, president of the National Association of Elementary School Principals and principal at Red Trail Elementary School in Mandan, North Dakota.
Principals are here for kids. In my experience, educators become principals because they enjoy working and spending time with kids and teachers. It has always been a belief to provide kids with the skills necessary to be competitive in life from a social and academic perspective. Principals love being a part of a bigger purpose. Perhaps more than any other part of academic success, I have experienced a safe and welcoming culture that promotes an opportunity for our kids to love learning. This type of culture really hinges on the school principal. I love a school environment that promotes visibility, communication, and welcomes feedback. I love giving our kids the opportunity to share how they are feeling to help us grow as a community in our school. It is my belief that we must meet our families where they are. The distributive leadership for staff and kids makes our processes more efficient. However, it builds buy-in for our school environment. To instill an optimal school environment and to achieve equity, leaders in schools must show optimism that all kids will reach high expectations, engage kids in a sense of wonder and curiosity, create a sense of belonging and a unique classroom bond, relate to the interests of kids and the trends of their generation, and finally involve kids in choices, plans, and decisions. An effective principal must consist of affirmation, rich in relevancy, rich in engagement, and rich in relationships. An optimal school has a culture for energy, participation, movement, spirit, respect, learning, sharing, reflecting, and goals for everyone individually and collectively.
Representing the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education, Dean in Residence, Leslie Fenwick.
AACTE is here for the kids. President Lyndon Baines Johnson, one facilitator of most of the nation's education and civil rights legislation, was first a teacher. During his presidency, he often referenced his job out of college as a 6th and 7th grade history teacher in a rural poor school in Texas, serving Mexican American students. What Johnson said then is instructive to us now. He said, "I often walked home late in the afternoon after classes were finished. All I knew was to teach my students the little I knew, hoping it would help them against the hardships that lay ahead. Somehow you never forget what poverty and hatred can do when you see its scars on the hopeful faces of young children. I never thought then in 1928 that I would be standing here as president in 1965. It never occurred to me in my fondest dreams that I might have the chance to help some of the sons and daughters of those students, to help people like them all over this country. But now I have that chance. I have the power, and I'll let you in on a secret. I intend to use it. You and I have that same chance that President Johnson spoke of those decades ago, that very same power. And I pray that we, like him, intend to use it because we are here for the children.
Next, we will hear from our exemplary leaders who will share some in person and some will come in virtually with us why and how they are here for the kids. Our first exemplar is Marnie Moraldo from the Issaquah School Board in Washington. Marnie is unable to attend and provided pre-recorded remarks.
Good morning. I'm delighted to speak to you virtually today about a program that empowers parents to become leaders and advocates for their kids and community. At NSBA, we understand the special relationship between school board members and students and their parents. In fact, many school board members were originally drawn to run for the school board after getting involved as a parent, either through volunteering or, as I did, through PTA. In Pomona Unified School District in California, the Parents Lead program started in 2008 to disseminate information on district and community resources. It has since grown to help parents develop leadership skills, pursue employment and educational opportunities, and to create additional opportunities for their kids.
This room at Pomona Unified School District Central Office serves a special purpose, a place for parents to gather information and partner in their children's education.
People sometimes are afraid to ask for help. We have to do whatever we can to get those resources out to the people.
Resources on academic programs, resources on English as a second language, and nutritional classes, just to name a few. Parent Leads was created to bridge the gap between school and family.
In the early 2000s, and our superintendent back at that time was looking to re-engage parents, to kind of give them genuine hope that we were listening, that we weren't just having to speak and then ignoring their voice, but to truly engage them.
Parents are our clients, students are our clients. I believe the parent is the first teacher. We coach them, we practice with them of how to ask questions, of how to support their kids. And if something didn't make sense, to find resources either at the school site with the principal, the teachers, or to come to the district so that we can help them ask the questions that they needed answers for.
Parent Leads has grown from a handful of participants to hundreds of parents who are advocating for school district programs and initiatives. And many schools now have their own parent sites.
You have to earn their trust in order to feel comfortable with them. You have to nurture parents. You have to be available for them, I will say 24/7.
Tienen información, por ejemplo, sobre programas.
They provide information about after-school programs, sports, and cultural activities.
El programa me ha ayudado mucho.
The program helped me become a leader to help my community.
Ayudar a mi comunidad.
Our parents they're amazing. You know, they're amazing. They do so much for us.
Next, we will hear from Kathy Kejijian, Executive Director of Communications and Strategic Planning for the Glenview Public School District in Glenview, Illinois, and the 2022-2023 INSPRA President.
School communicators aren't just distributors of information. Yes, we use the tools of our trade to send emails and text messages, post on social media and websites, craft newsletters, and create videos. And that information is important. Student success is directly related to the clarity and consistency of communication that we share. But the real value of our work comes when we tell the stories of the great things happening in classrooms, playgrounds, on courts and fields, and lunchrooms and hallways, and when we let our community be part of the story. In Glenview District 34, a preschool through 8th grade district in Chicago's suburbs, serving 4,300 students. The short form of our mission is aspire, explore, discover, connect. This year, our focus is on connect. We started our year with the Community Connect Resource Fair, where parent organizations and community partners, agencies, clinics, and businesses hosted tables to make sure that all of our families could connect with valuable, often critical resources. There were games and crafts and bubbles, and it had a joyous, festive feel. All of those partners are now part of our students' success stories. And after more than 2 years of limiting visitors, we've opened our doors wide and put out the call to parents and community members to join our volunteer pool to share their expertise in our classrooms. The pool is deep. Our teachers can call on engineers, physicians, chemists, broadcasters, entrepreneurs, artists, and even an astronomer from Chicago's Adler Planetarium who will come into classrooms to support student success. They'll see with their own eyes and be tightly connected to the great stories of our students. Those connections and everyone in Glenview who is part of them show that in District 34, we're here for the kids.
Our next exemplar is in person. We welcome Sherry Cammey, Superintendent of Schools for Baldwin Union Free Schools in New York and President of AASA.
AASA, the National Superintendents Organization, is here for the kids. Being an educator is a calling. We do this work because we feel it in our heart and in our soul. We do it solely to be here for the kids. All kids, no matter what state they call home, Wyoming, California, Washington, Michigan, Kansas, Maine, New York, Texas, Florida, will be our future farmers, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, manufacturers, entrepreneurs, lawyers, educators, doctors, tech developers, nurses, restaurateurs, small business owners, school districts across our world, our United States, develop programs for all of our kids. We make sure there is a home for every single child who comes to our public schools. Eventually, we will all be dependent on them. So why are we here for the kids? Because our kids are our future. We are here for the kids so they become warm, smart, caring, compassionate, civic-minded future citizens. And because we love every single child who walks through our schoolhouse doors. We hire the best to feed, transport, teach, and provide counsel to our kids. We are exhausted at the end of the day and school year because the days have no end. We are always here for the kids. The entire field of education has and will always exist because dedicated, hardworking, caring educators live their lives to be here for the kids. We are here for the kids because it's noble and it matters. Frederick Douglass once noted, "It is easier to build strong children than to prepare broken men." We are here for the kids so they will be strong, not broken, and one day will be here for us.
We will now hear from Latifah Scott, Social Emotional Learning Teacher Coach from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and NEA member leader.
Atlantic City Public Schools is here for the kids. We created a ninth period all hands on deck initiative to meet the intervention and enrichment needs of the whole child. Our goal is to help students grow academically, socially, and emotionally within student-centered sessions of learning, intentionally designed to empower students to reach their potential. We first considered equity in education as our students' social-emotional needs. Then we created and adopted a model that supported the idea of just schools so that every student and every educator had what is needed to navigate the new normal. The impact of COVID-19 and other school crises have left students, families, and communities struggling for basic resources and many have turned to schools for support. We are responding to their needs by helping them feel safe, comforted, and included in trauma-sensitive environments while they work toward current grade level proficiencies. Many students were learning remotely during their formative years and now feel the pangs of trying to navigate proficiencies founded on 1 to 2 grade levels prior. As a National Education Association's leader for Just Schools, it is my mission, vision, and daily purpose to work diligently to ensure our students and public schools have exactly what they need to thrive. In my role as a social emotional learning educator, it is imperative that I highlight the need for educating through a trauma-sensitive lens in an effort to support educators, students, and families. Advocating for mental wellness and social emotional learning is part of what I do, as well as teaching students how to self-regulate through mindfulness moments and breathing techniques. Additionally, I check in with students regularly because I want them to feel seen, heard, valued, validated, and affirmed in their school experience and beyond.
Next, we will hear from Kimberly Greer, principal at Langley High School in Virginia.
Every student, every strength. That is what guides our work. As we consider that we often hear about learning loss and the ways in which our students are deficient as a result of the pandemic, I make it my mission to ensure that we begin by looking at our students as individuals and celebrating the gifts and the talents and the strengths they come to us with each and every day. This has helped us reframe for our students and for our teachers and also for our community. The fact that our students are wonderful young people who are coming to us ready to learn. And while we may see deficits, we are working alongside them and their families to meet those needs so that we're able to best provide the educations that they also richly deserve. Mental wellness. I often say that the pandemic was definitely challenging, but it also gave us gifts of opportunity. And one of the greatest gifts I see is the fact that mental wellness came to the forefront as a result of the pandemic. Each and every day, we continue to make this work that we are part of and that we are putting at the forefront of our mission as a school. Rather than it to be something that is to be stigmatized or to be hidden, we basically let our students know that all of us in some way struggle at some time, and it's okay to reach out for help. In addition, there's a daily reminder. We actually put first and foremost a positivity moment at the end of each morning's announcements. Just a reminder to our students that we see them, we value them for who they are, and again, the gifts that they bring, and that they are okay exactly as they are, and they're welcome in our school building. Equity. And one of the other things we need to recognize and celebrate is the fact that we have so many students who are walking through our doors, each of them as individuals, and we need to recognize and meet them as such. We need to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our learners who maybe haven't gotten it yet, but we're also working to extend and to enrich opportunities for those students who are shining bright when it comes to learning in our school buildings. It also needs to be noted that we do need to make sure that we are clear in our beliefs, that schools are a safe space for all, that all students regarding of gender, beliefs, race, all of it we welcome, and that they are here and they are to be supported. Our school 2 years ago drafted a statement of acceptance. Our staff came together to really articulate what is it that we stand for when it comes to being a school community. And we are a place where all of our students matter, all of our students belong, and all of our students are valued. I'm in it for the kids. I'm in it for our kids, short-term and long-term. As a high school principal, it is my goal and my role to ensure they've graduated in 4 years, having had a phenomenal high school experience. But even more important for me, it's about the long-term, ensuring that we've given them the skills and strategies to move into the post-secondary world of work or college and beyond, able to do phenomenal things as an adult. I summarize my work with the 4 C's: care, connect, celebrate, so each and every one of our kids can commence. I am in it for the kids.
Our next exemplar is in person, Jackie Pogue Lyons, president of the Washington Teachers Union.
At our union, we know our mission is to protect, serve, and develop our teachers, but we are also a social justice union. And we believe that every child should have access to great neighborhood public schools. We knew that when we found out that many of our school children in our underserved communities did not have access to a librarian in every school, we launched and were successful in a campaign to ensure that every child in Ward 7 and 8 would have access to a librarian in their schools. We launched this campaign with the support of our parents, our librarians, our teachers, and more importantly, with our city council. Our teachers did a wonderful and heroic job teaching virtually, but we knew that the best place for our kids to learn was in person. And as we returned to school in person last fall, we knew that we would need to support our teachers and our students in going back to school. We applied and received a $70,000 grant from our parent organization, the AFT, and we used that money to support our teachers in getting much needed supplies. We also used that money to support vaccination fairs to ensure that our children would have the vaccinations necessary as they return to school. Every child that attended vaccination fairs around the city would receive a free book of their choice. We also attended back to school events. We also supported within schools literary events. We supported proms. We supported back to school gardens. We also supported kids in making sure they understood what healthy food was in the classroom. And every event that we attended, we made sure that we gave a classroom library to the kids regarding that subject. We also made sure that every kid received a book to take home. We also made sure that we took this around the city. We had an event where children were able to come for a weekend, where we ensured that we had 40,000 books for everyone in the city to come and take away as many books as they wanted to. This included teachers and the entire community. Lastly, we want to ensure that our work is not in vain. We support all our new teachers with a free class. And this year, we initiated making sure that our teachers not only receive a free class of their choice, but they can receive an additional class of their choice if it has to do with literacy. And so now our teachers have access to highly research classes like beginning reading instruction, accessible literacy frameworks, and introduction to reading comprehension. And we hope to ensure we have a lot of newcomers who are ELL students who have entered our city of Washington, D.C. We're working closely with many of their schools that are in Ward 7 and 8 so that those children also receive books in their native languages. And so again, we're working in supporting our kids and ensuring that everyone has access to a bright and shining future despite the perils of this pandemic. Thank you.
We will now hear from Steve Langford, Chief Information Officer of the Beaverton School District in Beaverton, Oregon, and Board Chair for COSN.
In the Beaverton School District, we serve 40,000 students and their families. The events of the past few years profoundly affected our students, our families, our staff, and our community. While there were challenges, and extreme challenges for many of our families, we never veered from our commitment and goal that all students would learn, grow, and be prepared for success in wherever their lives take them. We are now in our 5th week of our new school year, and I've had the great opportunities to spend time in schools and classrooms. I'm so encouraged about what I witnessed this year in Beaverton, and I'm sure it's the same for schools all over the country. I saw students excited about starting the new school year, seeing their friends, their teachers, and the staff that care so much about them. I saw teachers and leaders that, despite the challenges of the past couple of years, they were excited as well about starting a new school year, serving students, and building those relationships. Finally, I saw how seamlessly technology was working and is working for students and staff. We all learned so much about how technology is integral to student learning and the power of technology to save staff time so they can focus on students. The new ideas and the practices from the pandemic are now built into the ways in which students learn and demonstrate their learning. It was encouraging to me as a technology leader to see many of those innovative practices persisting. Our school year in Beaverton, and I'm sure this is true for so many school year systems around the country, but our school year started with such a positive focus on student learning, both from the students and the educators serving them. Our collective school system is here for the kids, and it makes me so very proud to say that in my role as a technology leader, I am here for the kids.
Our next exemplar is Laura Mitchell, Montgomery County Council of PTAs and National PTA 2022 Shirley Igoe Advocate of the Year Award winner.
With 209 schools serving more than 160,000 students, we're the largest school district in Maryland and the 14th largest nationally. There are 151 languages spoken in our communities by our families, so we must be very intentional about hearing every voice from every child. We must ask our students what they need and what they want in their schools and in their communities and help them elevate their voice, not be the voice for them. Each year, our secondary students elect a peer to serve as a voting member of our Board of Education. They use the formal student government structure, town halls, listening tours, and informal peer-to-peer conversations to hear from students in every one of those 209 schools about things that they may not share with adults. That information helps to shape how the student member votes on issues brought before the Board of Education. Other county advisory boards and commissions also have dedicated seats for students, and our council PTA committees work with students to hear the needs in their schools and communities as we're advocating for improvements. However, every child is not rushing to tell us or their peers what they need. We have to meet them where they are and work with their caregivers, their teachers, their coaches, and others who work with them to ensure that they too have a voice and have what they need to reach their potential. As one of our Board of Education members says, nothing about us without us. Inclusion is how PTA is here for kids.
Next is Jose Carrillo, senior at Texas State University and 2020-2021 Educators Rising National President.
PDK International and Educators Rising are here for the kids. Through our student leadership model, we ensure that we are here for the kids by allowing them to share their voices and make useful contributions to the world of education. As a former national student president, Educators Rising showed to me that they are here for the kids by providing me a platform to talk about the matters that I care most about. It made me realize the importance of using my voice as a young leader. Having the opportunity to use my voice through Educators Rising showed other students of color that they have the potential to lead a great organization and advocate for what they care for. Now, working with younger generations of future educators, we continue to be here for the kids through engagement and advocacy with student officers and our student ambassadors who help the great work along our organization. The efforts of our student officers inspiring other students through social media engagement, building relationships with other student officers, speaking to crowds of over 2,000 peers, providing community service projects, and providing student perspectives at professional events shows that we are all here for the kids. Our annual student-led national conference gives students the opportunity to show their creativity and best talents through our competition model, where they can create or present lessons, books, and speeches, all revolving education. While they may not realize it right away, the work that our kids do will leave an everlasting impact on education in our country and in their communities. Here at Educators Rising, we emphasize that we are not only here for the kids, but showing those same kids that the work that they do at such young ages are also here for the kids that will take on their torch. Thank you.
Our next exemplar is in person. Nader Twal, Program Administrator, Office of Curriculum Instruction and Professional Development for the Long Beach Unified School District in California and representing Learning Forward.
I work in the fourth largest school district in California that serves over 70,000 kids. And we have over 80 schools that support our community, which represent a beautiful cross-section of the diversity that we see across America. We have a long history of success and achievement, but recognize that the needs of the kids that we serve today differ from the ones who preceded them. Our students today have a greater political consciousness, have endured the collective trauma of a pandemic that disproportionately affected kids of color, and have demonstrated resilience that we can only hope for as adults. So as we work to serve these students, these kids, we've chosen to embrace a what kids can do approach to teaching and learning. In Long Beach, we believe that all students and communities come to us with cultural and linguistic gifts and deserve to be treated with dignity, fairness, respect, and unconditional positive regard. You see, we believe that our kids are more than our future, they're our present. When we only name their future, they wait for their voices to matter, when they have meaningful contributions to make today. And nowhere do I see this value more lived out than in our current approach to strategic planning. This year, we're engaging in a year-long process of revisioning what we want for our education system by 2035. And instead of imagining that future for them, we've invited our kids into the conversation because their lived experience in our system provides some of the richest data that we can mine, and they deserve to take an active role in the process. As members of our guiding coalition, students are helping us to define success and to identify opportunities in the current system so that we can bridge to them. They're defining a clear graduate portrait that can serve as our North Star in addition to an adult portrait so that we know what they need most from us in their journeys. With their collective genius and our collective effort, I'm confident that the vision we set will be not only one that we can achieve, but exceed, because it's a shared future that amplifies their agency. We're here for the kids, and we're better for it.
Next, we will hear from Jeff Heckman, school counselor at Platte County High School, Platte City, Missouri, and chair of the ASCA Board of Directors.
Every kid deserves a school counselor. I represent the thousands of school counselors who are here for the kids every day to ensure students have equitable and inclusive opportunities to protect their social and emotional wealth, their academic opportunities, and plans for post-secondary success. Being here for the kids is what led me to be a school counselor. As an educator, I saw the need that students have on a daily basis to have an advocate who will support them and help them find their voice, particularly in situations where they feel they have none. My journey started with a student who came to me because a friend of his was in the hospital. Because he sacrificed football practice to be with his friend, his teammates abandoned him, and he felt he had no one to share this hurt with. His grades started to decline, and he questioned his own path. As I visited with him about his pain and how he could overcome, I asked why he had waited so long to share it with anyone. His words caused me to pause even now. Mr. Heckman, you're the only one I can talk to. Like this student, many kids have a connection with a trusted adult in the school, but many more continue to look for that trusted individual, someone they know they can share anything with, someone who is here for the kids. And since that day, I and school counselors across the nation continue to be individuals students can talk to. But school counselors are also here for the kids because we know that all it takes is one person to make a difference in their lives. We get to work with students every day and in partnership with other educational professionals, support their growth. Kids are amazing. And for every difference a school counselor makes in their life, there are so many more ways they impact ours. School counselors are here for the kids.
We will now hear from Ryan Daniel, principal at Fort Foote Elementary School in the Prince George's County Public Schools in Fort Washington, Maryland.
At Fort Foote Elementary, we are here for the kids because we never forget what it means to be a kid. This is my kid, and I make sure that I create a school community that I want my own kid to be a part of. We bring joy to our school for kids because this is what we do. At our school, we keep kids in the center of our decisions by including them in the decision making. Kids are used to determine what resources should be prioritized for the school budget. Kids are used to determine how we structure our learning environments. We personalize the learning environment, the experience, the resources, so they fit the needs of our kids. We don't make our kids fit the needs of our school. We design a school that fits the needs of this kid right here and every kid behind her. Nationally, we know we're facing a teacher shortage, but kids are still coming to school every day. Parents are still trusting school leaders to give their best to their kids. At Fort Foot Elementary School, we become gap fillers in our building. We step in when we are needed. Our teachers will take on additional duties to ensure that our kids do not miss any opportunities, do not lose access. As we move out of the pandemic, we understand that we can't go backwards. Our kids need us to reimagine education. They need us to color outside of the lines, think outside of the box. We here at Fort Foot Elementary School are for the kids because we never forget what it means to be a kid.
We now welcome our final exemplar, Rhonda Jeter, Dean of College Education, Bowie State University in Maryland.
And I'm here for the kids because it's so important as I train teachers, counselors, superintendents, principals, that they are ready to go into the public schools and work along with making sure the children have the very best that they can have. And so I see every public school as a community. And we know all communities aren't created equally. And so I was so impressed when the COVID came and hit us that students were there still learning. Teachers were still giving, and our families stepped up. Our communities, our business communities came forward and saw the inequities and provided connectivity for students who didn't have connectivity. We saw them come forward and people donate computers and laptops so the students could work. We saw community centers open up, places where students could get connection and they could do their homework and do the testing that they needed. And so I say, I'm here for the children. I know that the public schools do a wonderful thing and make it possible for children to dream big and to succeed. And so I continue to be here for the children and I support them in every way that I can.
Thanks to all our panelists and exemplars for participating today. I would ask Jill Cook, Executive Director of the American School Counselor Association and Secretary Treasurer for the Learning First Alliance, to come and bring closing remarks.
Here for the kids. Amazing, uplifting, passionate stories and sentiments that we've heard about today from educators all across the country about how they are here for the kids. And we all certainly know the kids need us now more than ever. The challenges of the pandemic will be with us for some time to come. For some kids, it's about catching up on unfinished learning. For others, it's about dealing with the loss of a family member or a loved one, or a general sense of unease or uncertainty. And that is where adults, loving, caring adults who are willing to listen and to help, come in. You've heard why and how we are here for the kids, and now we are asking you to engage with us. Engage with us by serving on a school or district committee. Engage with us by volunteering to tutor, assisting in the library, volunteering in a classroom. Engage with us by encouraging local businesses and industries to develop internship and apprenticeship programs. We want to engage with you. To learn more, please visit us at learningfirstalliance.org/here for the kids. Get engaged.
help us in finding solutions because we are all here for the kids.